there's a few quarterbacks in future shows, Rudy, that we should go ahead and talk about where they can land and to get fresh starts. I think that would be something we should target for during the off season. So if I were the Buccaneers, I would give the Arians and Tom Moore and Jameis Winston one more year. But I would also bring in Andy Dalton, or there's got to be another team out there that would bring in Andy Dalton. And then maybe a Phillip Rivers gets a fresh start somewhere. You just don't know, depending on the talent level you have around them.
Well, you've already named 3 quarterbacks I just don't care for. So, first of all, Jameis Winston is not Bruce Arians' guy. Okay, Bruce Arians knew that in advance. If he has any pull at all as a head coach, and I believe he does. If he does, he needs to get a quarterback. End of story. You just need to draft another quarterback, not keep accepting hand-me-downs or a guy who's going to spend 4 or 5 years in the same system and has done nothing but the same thing year in and year out. And that's for interceptions. You can't stay alive in the NFL by just being that guy. He reminds me of Jay Cutler. Guy gets paid more being on the sideline than he did on the bench. Are you serious? And then other quarterbacks are still making money. Brock Osweiler is retiring a multimillionaire. He has 2 teams paying him. Are you serious? You want to get into that conversation about why he shouldn't be there? Jameis Winston needs to go. End of story. Colts, Jaguars. This is a dumpster fire game. Not a whole lot going on here between these two. I'm not going to even elaborate on it. Eagles, the Giants. This is more about the Eagles needing to win this game because if they don't and they lose to the G-Men, the Cowboys win, Cowboys are in, Eagles are out. End of story. Cardinals at Rams, this is about an implication in an NFC West game that has no implications. It's got zero to do with nothing. All you're trying to do is see what Kyler Murray is, if he can play, if he can't. If I were him and I were them, if I were the Cardinals organization, I would shelve him until the following season. Why? Because this is a meaningless game. The Rams are just going to win it for pride. They're going to have all their starters in there. They're going to have the overpaid Goff under center. He may as well be – he's better off playing golf than being Jared Goff under center for the LA Rams. Just throwing that out there. Of course, my golf game's not as good, so he could probably beat me at an 8-hole SWIP. Steelers-Ravens is more about Steelers winning, but they need other teams to lose in order for them to get in. And same situation as it was last year, so no big news there. And, of course, Ravens aren't having any starters to speak of, at least not the main ones between Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson, as we mentioned here. This is Rudy Reyes, Scott Morganroth. We're getting close to wrapping up the show, but I want to get your thoughts about this Raiders-Broncos game. Why it's an AFC West matchup. This is more of an implication as to whether or not the Raiders can get past Denver. Drew Lock has won more games this season than I think they were expecting him to. And I think right now when you look at Drew Lock, he's playing relatively well. Do the Broncos somehow walk away with a W?
Well, there's a lot of dysfunction going on out with the Raiders. I mean, will Derek Carr even be a Las Vegas Raider? Scary thought, isn't it? Las Vegas Raider. But, yeah, I don't know. You never know. I mean, Denver, Vic Fangio would like to see it end on a good note, like to see Drew Lock be able to gain some confidence. I don't think Denver has identified a quarterback, and they haven't had one since John Elway left the fray, outside of Peyton Manning, of course. But, for Denver, it's something to build on. Is it Derek Carr's last rodeo with John Gruden? Well, everybody knows that John Gruden likes to go through a lot of quarterbacks, Rudy. So who knows? He did it in Tampa. He did it again. And, I guess I'll take a little thing from Gene Hackman and Hoosiers. Let's see what hand we've been dealt. A lot of coaches are going to find out what hand they've been dealt. And it's another opportunity to get one more game under their belt to see many of them prepare for next year is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, no,
who fits in.
Yeah, you're right. I think Carr could be seen his last days in Oakland as well. It's been the same story. It's been the same story for him. It's been the same story since he landed there. So I don't know that he's Gruden's guy. Yeah, so Gruden has a history of going through quarterbacks. But he won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay after the Oakland Raiders decided to cut him loose. That actually still speaks a lot. It speaks a huge volume for John Gruden. Whether or not he can get the guys looking for in the offseason is another story. Redskins and Cowboys. Cowboys need this game badly, just like the Eagles do. However, they're still going to be behind the 8 ball. They need all kinds of other cards to fall into place. before they even get inside of the playoffs. But they have to beat a Dwayne Haskins-less Washington Redskins team as he's been shelved for the season. You could see Case Keenum come in to replace him. I don't know that I like that very much because, again, Case Keenum reminds me of a Brock Osweiler, reminds me of a Paxton Lynch, reminds me of all these other guys that the Broncos have had that did not quite pan out. But for all intents and purposes, I think the Cowboys can get the win. Biggest question is, can they? Will they? Is Amari Cooper ready? Is that plantar fasciitis too much for him? They don't have Leighton Vander Esch. He's out with a neck issue. So a lot of question marks on this team, offensively as well as defensively. What do they do with Zeke? Do they put him in the slot? Is he fast enough? I don't think so. So this is more about them trying to win and other teams to lose. And, of course, the last game we're talking about here, 49ers at Seahawks. This is going to be a very interesting game. This is my NFC game of the week. Why? Because you have the 49ers trying to battle out to see who's going to win the NFC West. This is the game of the year for these two teams. They've met up earlier this season. And, of course, as you know, AFC, NFC teams will play each other once in their respective home and away at the other person's house. But this is more about the 49ers and their ability to win. They're having some injury issues. The Seahawks just re-added Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, back. He passed his physical. He's ready to go. I think what's more telling is that it was more about 15 seconds of fame, just as he did at the Super Bowl, saying, "I'm here so I don't get fined part deux." Was this all about nothing? Was this just Marshawn Lynch being Marshawn Lynch?
I don't know. This is everything to gain, nothing to lose situation with the Seahawks. You lose your top running back, so might as well bring him in. The guy obviously went in there for an unofficial visit, and he was in better shape than most people thought. I actually like the signing. Again, I'll go back to the fact that the guy felt he should have got the carry to win the Super Bowl, didn't. You know, anything you can do to fire yourself up mentally, unfinished business, why not do it? And Pete Carroll knows him, and he's liked there. I have no problem with the move. I think it's actually pretty good.
Well, we're gonna find out if he's gonna pull out a bag of Skittles in the end zone. If for some reason he finds a way to get through there. This is Rudy Reyes. At Take No Punches. Go through me a follow at RudeDog Reyes on Twitter. Any other shout outs you want to give there, Scott, before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with you this year, and I'm looking to see if we can build our brand next year, Rudy. I think there's no question when you have two sportscasters like us that know a lot, bring a lot to the table, you know, energy. I don't feel there's a better podcast out there that brings in the combination of elements that we have. So just so everybody knows, you can reach me at Tribune South on Twitter, and on Facebook you can look for the South Florida Tribune. Please like the page, and you'll be able to find all of our updates. Rudy, what are we at? Take No Punches on Twitter as well?
At Take No Punches, you got it. Everybody throw us a follow. Check us out. Listen to us if you like it, love it, but never leave it. This is Rudy Reyes at Take No Punches. Scott, it's been great. Appreciate working with you. Look forward to more of these shows in the upcoming year. And if we don't talk about that, if we don't talk again during the remainder of this year, we're certainly going to do that next year. We're going to have a whole slew. We're just obviously not going to talk about the NFL, but that seems to be the hottest topic right now. We're going to kind of move around different areas. We're going to go in the NBA, talk about baseball. That's on the horizon as well. And try to get into some hockey. Hockey. I call it hacky. Other people call it hockey. We're going to find out which one is which and who's in and who's out. Don't forget the playoffs are going to be coming up here next year in the NHL as well. See if I can get some guys out here. Maybe Pete Jensen will join me again on the show. I don't know. We'll find out. Lots of stuff in store. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Go throw us a follow. I Take No Punches. Go throw Scott a follow because, well, that's the right thing to do. And throw me a follow as well.
Hey, listen, you know what? The next time I talk to you on here, I'll change ages. 4 days after Christmas, number 57 is right around the corner. But, had to get that plug in. I don't know whether I should be doing it or not. But, I do want to mention one thing. You talked about your golf game, about being what it is. Mine's non-existent after a couple of shoulder operations, neck and back. But that's okay. I can always watch it on TV if I don't fall asleep first. So, but nothing against the sport of golf.
Just golf. It's all it is golf. But anyway, thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thank everybody for tuning in. Reshare, like, do whatever you got to do. Throw us a follow. Throw us a bone. But again, we take no punches. This is Take No Punches. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Happy New Year.